The Waycross City Commission Planning and Information Session is now called to order. At this time, we'll look to our city manager to call for our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Mr. Mayor, we're calling you at this time.
That's great. Let us all stand. The word of the Lord coming from the book of Matthew chapter 5, looking at verse 14, says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." And it is us tonight that I ask that we allow the Spirit of God to continue to guide and guard and govern us as we continue to do the work of the city. Let us bow our heads for prayer. Father, we do love you, thank you, and praise you for your kindness, your goodness, and your mercy. We do look to you to help us to continue to let the light shine as we go forth in this world to do those things that are pleasing in your sight. Forgive us of our many sins and cover us in your blood and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Make us who you'd have us to be. And as we walk the journey, we pray now that we walk in the path of righteousness for your name's sake. And though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil, for you are with us. Your rod and your staff, they comfort us. You prepare a table before us, even in the presence of our enemies. And we know that you anoint our heads with oil and our cups run over. We thank you for all that you do, are saying, and will do through us this night. This we pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Amen. Let us look to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we look to our city's clerk to call for any guests we may have. Are there any guests tonight?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have, we have 4 tonight. The first one is Mr. Melton. Mr. Melton, if you will take the podium, please, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Melton is here to talk about his business. Mr. Melton, we request that you state your name and address for the record.
Daltrey Melton, 580 Dorothy Street, Waycross, Georgia.
You have 3 minutes, Mr. Melton.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Just want to talk right quick and briefly. I need to get a permanent business license. When I wanted to do a dinner for or a evening for the citizens here, I discovered then and brought back to my attention that our business licenses were not where they needed to be or either up to par there. So, and in that, I found out about a retention pond. So, I went back and did my homework right quick. I looked over it, and we're not in a floodplain, and there's proper drainage all the way around the facility. So, I asked of you and this board if you all can, and we'll give me a permanent business license. Any questions?
If the commission has any questions, generally don't respond. Or,
Okay. I have some photos. If y'all want to like to take a look right quick. I tried to print them out, but I couldn't with this iPad here. The property that's in question is 580. Of course, there's a manhole right there at the property. There across the street, Dorothy Street there, and McDonald. There's 2 on each side there. So we do have proper drainage all the way around there. And of course, again, we're not in a flood zone. So did that once we did the project.
Okay. And let me say to every guest, when you come, if you have not been able to run your copies, please make sure you send whatever you do have to our office, and then we might be able to make copies of those for the staff so they'll have those in time for the meeting.
Yes.
Okay? I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, next we have Martin Gray. Mr. Gray, if you'll step to the podium. Mr. Gray is here with some complaints. Mr. Gray, we request that you state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Can I make a statement before my time starts, please? In reference to ADA? If everybody will notice, I've got,
No, I'm sorry, Mr.
well, I
Gray.
need to make a notification under the ADA because
Oh.
if I don't, somebody's gonna notice another one of my disabilities and mock it with an AI-generated photo online. So I'm trying to ensure that that does not happen this time.
All right, the discussion, Mr. Mayor, is what he addressed when he signed up. He had some complaints, I guess generalized complaints. He didn't say anything about any ADA considerations.
Okay.
But he has 3 minutes. The
Yes,
same
3
as
minutes,
everybody else.
yes. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'm standing here tonight because far too much has been swept under the rug in this city. And the people of Waycross deserve to see exactly what's been buried and who's been burying it. First, I've submitted multiple formal notifications to city leadership documenting alleged criminal conduct by city personnel. These weren't rumors or assumptions. They were supported by solid documentation, evidence, and proof. Out of every official I notified, only one response ever came from the city manager. And instead of forwarding that criminal allegation to law enforcement where it rightfully belongs, he chose to close it out on his own. That's not transparency, that's overreach. When a city administrator takes it upon himself to shut down a criminal complaint internally, that's not protecting the city, that's protecting the problem. It sends a message that accountability only applies when it's convenient. So tonight, Mr. Mayor, I'm asking on the record for this city to produce the legal authority that gives any administrator the power to close or dismiss a criminal allegation involving city personnel. If that authority doesn't exist, and we all know it doesn't, then the public deserves to know why that matter was never referred to the Waycross Police Department. Because when people who work inside this building start deciding which crimes get ignored and which ones get investigated, that's not government, that's not control. And that's a line that no public servant has the right to cross. When the city attorney went beyond her authority. She dismissed my ethics complaint against the city commissioner. The ordinance could not be clearer. The city charter leaves no room for interpretation. The city attorney does not have the legal authority to make that decision. When she dismissed that complaint, she didn't just bend procedure, she broke it. And in doing so, stripped the citizens of their guaranteed right to due process. When a city starts cherry picking which ethics complaints get sent to the board and which ones get buried, that's not procedure, that's manipulation. And when manipulation replaces process, you no longer have ethics, you have favoritism. That's not the Waycross the citizens deserve. I am requesting that my ethics complaint be reintroduced immediately, that an independent ethics board be convened as required by law, and that every step of the ordinance be followed to the letter, not rewritten to protect anyone's reputation. The ethics process was created to keep government honest, not to shield it from accountability. Third, there's a false and cowardly narrative being circulated that I am a racist. That accusation came from within this administration and was echoed by members of this commission. So Mr. Mayor, as the presiding officer of this body, I'm asking that if such words are going to be spoken about a citizen, then they be proven publicly. If there's evidence to support that claim, then let's have a live stream public forum right here in this room. Set a table up here in front of this commission, and I'll take a seat, and whoever made that accusation could present their proof.
Time,
If
Mr.
they
Mayor.
can't prove it, and they won't be able to, then we have an issue. But I'm calling for a public debate forum with whoever made
Is there another?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We have Mr. Worley. Mr. Worley is here to speak on the election process. Mr. Worley, if you'll state your name and record for the,
Okay. Is that a part of our, in the decorum, one of the things that we do not do is talk about anything with
Well-
election?
It's a districting issue, Mr. Mayor.
Districting?
Districting issue
Okay.
within the Board of Elections.
Okay, I'll just look to the attorney just for a quick moment, just to make sure I'm not going to be breaking my own decorum.
If it's not about election matters, but about a redistricting, he can talk about that.
Very good, and thank you.
said not redistricting, is that what you're saying?
Anything
No.
dealing with mapping or whatever I think you can have that
Yeah, we
conversation.
can talk about
All right,
that.
thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Barry Worley. I'm at 401 Gilmore Street. I stand before you this evening as a concerned citizen and my concerns with the Ware County Board of Elections and Registration. I'm bringing it to you because of the contract the city currently has with that entity. Now, I'm trying to teach my son about leadership and what it means to lead and have others under his charge. One of the points that I must keep reminding him of, because of his little sister, is leadership is not about control or power or being in charge. It is about service to others and taking care of those in your charge. Service and taking care of those you serve. Here we are in early voting. We have citizens that are getting turned away at the voting office because they are being provided with incorrect ballots. There are many problems with this, such as why is the voting office turning people away and telling them to come back later to vote? Because they were provided a ballot for the wrong district. They can't come back later on election day. Is this a ploy to deter people from voting or a simple mistake? I thought all of this was supposed to be fixed after the last botched election. Why are citizens affected by these mistakes not being provided a provisional ballot to fill out on the spot? Is it because of the election officials and poll workers in Ware County are not properly trained, or is it a ploy to deter people from voting, or simply just interfering with the election itself? I hate to paint an ugly picture or make assumptions, but the Ware County Board of Elections and Registration Supervisor has stated that the issues regarding district boundaries were resolved. To add insult to injury, how many citizens are affected by this incompetence or willful negligence? How many citizens are still listed in the wrong district and will cast their vote on the ballot they're provided because they don't know what district they live in? How many candidates have been cheated by being provided an inaccurate list of voters in their district? As the mayor of Waycross, I don't understand how you can stand by and allow this kind of incompetence, negligence, or willful and intentional disservice to the citizens in your city. 2 times now that I'm aware of, citizens have lived and voted in for years in District 2, have showed up for early voting and were provided ballots for candidates in District 3. 2 times those citizens were not provided provisional ballots to cast their vote. 2 times they were turned away and told to come back later to vote on the correct ballot. What is going to happen on election day when the voters can't come back later? How many times do we have to go through this same bait and switch before someone is held accountable, or at the very least receives the proper training to fill these positions? I'm not asking these questions because this is the first time mistakes have been made. I'm asking this question because of the integrity of our local elections. It's already compromised. It was compromised during qualification of candidates because nobody knows where anybody lives. I'm asking because we continue to have citizens that do not have a voice in deciding who will represent them because we still don't know what district they live in. I'm asking because at this point, every election that has taken place after 2011 is a joke. The leadership in Waycross if the leadership in Waycross had any sense of pride in this community or in themselves as elected leaders of this community, they would be appalled,
Thank you, Ms. Wolf.
ashamed, and irate.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk?
All right, and our last one is Michael Hargrove. He is here to talk on ethics. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Hargrove. You have 3 minutes.
Michael Hargrove, 2012 Alice Street. Mr. Mayor, Attorney Spearman does not belong in that seat. Here's why. Since I've been coming here, he's dismissed a legitimate complaint that questioned the qualifications of a commission candidate, one who stated he lived in Waycross for 9 years while voting in Jessup for 4 of them. He deliberately supported the denial of representation for an entire city district for months when asked to do so.
We can't have
His
that
collected
conversation.
fees approaching $50,000
Mr. Hargrove.
to promote and assist in a witch hunt.
Mr. Hargrove.
No, he's complaining about a specific member of the city commission, administration. He said he wanted to talk about ethics complaint. I don't know what he's talking about.
This is talking about ethics, Mr. Spearman.
Okay, so
So what's the question?
what I'm asking is this within lines of what we've been doing on the decorum or outside of it?
No, it's outside of it.
Okay.
It's clearly outside of it.
Okay.
This is absolutely not outside of an ethics complaint or discussion of one.
Okay.
This is a Monday meeting, an open session, and you know that, and you're trying to quash one more thing that covers up your incompetence.
Okay, so
Yeah.
because I have had, and I'm not understanding quickly,
So he's participated in illegal meetings in violation of the sunshine laws.
so,
He's refused to provide
Mr.
information
Hargrove,
of an ethics board last month to decide
thank you
the
for your
merits
conversation,
of I
but at
and
this
others.
point,
Point of order. You
we
have to
can't
leave it
close any
open.
doors.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, you explained to him why you do
Thank you,
the
Mr.
door
Mayor.
Okay, one of the reasons we leave our door open is because this is a public meeting and people can come in and out the door. And only time we can close the door is when we're doing executive session. Okay, Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, the vision and mission remain the same. The priorities remain the same, Mr. Mayor. The priorities further broken down, Mr. Mayor. As stated during previous meeting, Mr. Mayor, we have started to break down the priorities a little bit further, and I go into a little bit of detail on each of these priorities. We started with the canals and alleyways. We moved to blighted properties. Blighted properties is on the agenda. We'll discuss that in depth tonight. Next, we discuss the unhoused citizens. Next, we discuss the overpass and bridges. Next, we discuss the streets and roads. Next, we discuss the morale. And Ms. Mayor, it was tailored to more morale for the workforce. We discuss data-driven analytics on how we make our decisions. And a new addition, Mr. Mayor, is effective communication. I'll speak on this for a few minutes on this topic. So as far as communications, we put out through multiple ways, but our four main ways is going to be the city website, our social media platforms, commission meetings, and then town halls, whether it may be virtual or in person. We also have email, city app. We have a new text service and phone service that's later on in the agenda, and Director Simmons will explain that in detail tonight. And then we do surveys, outreach, and community engagement. Mr. Mayor, we do all these things and these forms of communication for two reasons, actually three reasons. For one, it was a mandate upon me taking this job by the then commission. And then two, transparency and truth. I'm going to speak on those two for a few seconds here, Mr. Mayor, just to clarify a few things. So with the transparency, I know you said we can't address those comments. I'm addressing the transparency piece as far as how we communicate. So I'll make sure that's clear, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and let me say something to that, because one of the concerns that I'm having, each time a person's coming up with, and it seems like this is
Mhm.
coordinated for this time season,
Mhm.
but what I'm noticing as well is that no matter what you place out there, or what are you going to say out in the social media sphere, you're going to have these back and forths, it seems.
Okay.
So even if you prove out, because transparency is beyond just saying what's been asked of you, which is honesty, but there's the other side of it. Transparency is going beyond even what is being requested of you, and I think what you're going to be saying now is going to be along those lines. So I'll open the floor for some conversation, but just let's keep it within the parameters so that we won't break our own rule. And that's what I was saying.
Understood, Mr. Mayor. I'll go with our effective communications because in the past we did not have effective communications. And the cornerstones of this is going to be the transparency piece, because we do want to have the truth out there and not have opinions and falsehood. I'm going to say the word lies. I'm going to use an example, Mr. Mayor, on this because this has been on our social media platform about when I was hired. And we all know I was hired in 2023 of March. A young man stood up here and made 3 accusations. I was not even the city manager then. So he doesn't have transparency he wants. I'm just making that as an example. That's why we try so hard to put stuff out, to battle those lies, because they are lies. Again, I was not even here during that time frame that he continues to bring about and try to challenge us on as a city. So that's why we try so hard to be effective with our communications. And again, with the collaboration, we do have other citizens that read through all that stuff and understand the things we're trying to do here as a city and administration to better communicate with our citizens. And I'll stop there, Mr. Mayor. As far as the priorities. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the 10-year plan. And again, you made a slight modification to this. We started with a 10-year plan. And then we broke it down to just a midterm. We're in the midterm as we speak right now, 2 to 4 years. Of course, we're implementing and updating our programs, policies, and ordinances and procedures with performance tasking, continuous improvement of our standard-based workforce. We have a great workforce. We are almost done with automated systems overhaul. You get briefed on that tonight. We're currently right now continuing to develop a financial long-term strategy, which we'll talk about a little bit tonight in conjunction with the body properties discussion, and of course to maintain quality delivery of services that we have with our workforce. Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the agenda items, starting with the bids process, and that will be done by the purchasing manager, Ms. Jackson.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Purchasing has one item before you this evening. It is for a bid for IT services. We actually received 21 total bids for this project, and out of those 21, we narrowed it down to 3 and then narrowed it down to 1. That one being ATC Tech on Demand of Alma, Georgia. Their bid came in, their base annual fee would be $186,000 per year. And IT services would cover all of our hardware for our computer systems, all of our software, all of our, the word just left me. Thank you. Servers, as well as they would be willing to come in either monthly or quarterly, whichever would serve us best, to physically have someone here.
Very good. So do we have any questions of commission regarding anything before we give a consent?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question.
Commissioner?
Thank you. Ms. Mamie, regarding ATC and their annual services that they will provide, does that include any technological upgrades?
Yes, yes, they will grow as we grow.
the first point would be them coming in and assessing where we are now, what we will need to get to a base level, and then if, as things go along, if we need to upgrade or new technology comes along, they'll help us adapt to it.
Thank you.
Any other questions, District 1?
Yes, sir.
District 2?
No, sir.
And District 5?
No, sir.
Okay. So you just need consent for us to put this on the agenda for tomorrow night, so I'm gonna go back through the districts one more time, just for our record, and I'll start with District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Yes.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
You have unanimous consent, and that's for our record, and we should handle this tomorrow.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the infrastructure update. This is the week's update for us public works. There'll be most of their work will be in the Zone 2 and Zone 1 area. We're doing a lot of cleanup this week. We are following up with some of the canal maintenance that we could not do when we were trying to get prepped for the storm. So those areas that might have been not done aesthetically over the past few months, we'll be hitting those areas as far as canal. If we have an easement in place already. If not, there'll be some more time. Next engineering projects, dirt roads are ongoing. We're still doing some storm drain recovery. You see some of the permits and coordinations being done, Mr. Mayor. You see our water leaks that have been assigned and being worked. And then you see our special projects as far as West Street, the contractor zone strike, Quarterman Street, engineering design phase is completed. Next, Mr. Mayor, these are the street and dirt roads. We're currently reviewing the bids for Brunel and Scrivens Avenue. The dirt roads have been given the notice to proceed, so they will be starting this week as far as the first set of dirt roads, or the next set of dirt roads. And then you see the paving improvements, phase 2 for bids, and then the water waste treatment plant, phase 2, bid opens on October 24th. Mr. Mayor, the fall community cleanup, the dumpsters. I'm going to talk a little bit on this. I just want to make sure that the public understands the dumpsters are there for their use, their public use. And when they can, if there's stuff around the dumpster, please just come back the next day. We do empty the dumpsters every single day. However, we know they fill up as fast as they can. If they do fill up and we get a call, we'll come dump them. But if you can, citizens, please just wait till the next day if it's overflowing. And those are the dates, remaining dates for the cleanup, Mr. Mayor. These are our zones, Mr. Mayor. And Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and highlight one more time about the zones. So Zone 1, that's Auburn Avenue to Plant Avenue. Zone 2, Memorial Highway to Scrivens Avenue. Zone 3, Memorial Highway to Haynes Avenue. And then Zone 4, Auburn Avenue to Glenmore Avenue. Mr. Mayor, this is the monthly finance update, which we'll cover in detail during the first quarter update here on the agenda. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the blighted property discussion. And this is some feedback from the previous discussion we had. Just want to kind of restate some of these facts. So from January 22 to now, we've presented about 81 cases to the court system, and we demolished those. We demolished those structures, and currently working on about 50 additional unsafe properties. Now, this doesn't capture the number of overall properties, just the ones that's already beginning in the court case. Want to send a reminder to the commission that we allotted $550,000 in the 2023 splosh to demolition specifically for the blighted properties. And then as I spoke on last time we had this discussion, we want to streamline our focus areas and kind of focus on certain parts of the community instead of jumping around like we've been doing over the last 3 or 4 years. And this new point, better land bank utilization and coordination. And I'll cover that in this next slide. So since this last discussion, I think the last discussion we had on blighted properties was in the month of June. I did reach out to other city managers. Mr. Hawkins has been getting additional feedback as well. And we tried to get a better benchmark a best practice for those citizens who seem to be, have a better hold on the blighted properties. One thing we did discover, those that use the land bank effectively seem to have, and let me take that back. Of course, those that have new investments coming in as far as housing and jobs, that's going to push it farther than anything. But the next benchmark would be an effective land bank. I know our land bank is in its infant stage, just kind of getting off the ground and getting it going. We're trying to get some additional training. But one thing I would like to do moving forward, or request of the commission, is that we have better coordination with the land bank. And not just the land bank, we have a lot of other authorities and other agencies that, report to the city but don't report to the city, that we have to be better aligned with to kind of get things done. And I'll touch on that at the next meeting. But I want to get some facts about the land bank to the commission just to consider. Because I think I mentioned this before, but I wasn't updated on the actual role of the land bank. So I made a comment about property taxes, who could cancel property taxes. So I'll make sure I clear that up. The land bank cannot forgive or cancel someone's property taxes. That power does not belong to the land bank. However, when the land bank owns a property, it does not pay property taxes while it holds it. This is because the property is being used for public purposes, like fixing up abandoned or blighted buildings. If the land bank takes ownership of a property that has unpaid taxes, those old taxes are cleared automatically under the state law. This is a state law that provides for that. So the property can be reused. Once the property is sold to a new private owner, regular property taxes will start again. Not old property taxes, regular property taxes. In short, the land bank helps bring abandoned properties back to life. It doesn't erase taxes for individuals. I make that point because those cities, and there's about 4 cities, and I forgot to put them in the slideshow, that seem to have a better coordination on that process about empowering the land bank by buying properties and then getting those properties up to speed for citizens to buy. And they turn over faster, a much faster rate than other means of getting rid of blighted properties. So I have charged Mr. Hawkins is going to be mainly his task about with the land bank, and that's finding out legally, along with the city attorney, how can we get more properties to the land bank, and how much faster can we do this? Because I think that's going to cut away about 50% of our properties. Just as just an overarching look at it right now. And once we get rid of those properties, then we can focus the rest of our monies as far as the demolition of those properties. And I cut them in half because when I say the 50% of properties, those are the ones that we know the owner, who the owner is, and we work with them. The ones that we don't, that's a whole nother problem. So to sum this up, the next land bank meeting, I'm going to attend that meeting, and I'm going to have a longer presentation to kind of talk about ways to move things a little bit faster as far as acquiring property. I did look at the bylaws for our land bank, and when the last time we gave them funding to acquire properties. I'm trying to research how to do that again. I can't be sure. When did we give that first amount of money? Do you remember? Oh yeah. So 2017. So things will change with the statute and the law that might allow us to kind of do some other things. Mainly, maybe possibly using some of that demolition money to go to the land bank, which they can use it better than we could. So I know I said a lot, Mr. Mayor. I will come back to this, but I do want to go brief the land bank on some new changes that are happening and just some of the best practices other cities are using, because they're moving much, much faster than we are as far as getting rid of some of these properties. Once I talk to the land bank, I'll come back to the commission with the summary of that discussion, then we'll kind of go from there. I'm going to pause for any recommendations on this slide in particular.
We have one land bank membership here, so Commissioner, do you have anything you want to say?
I don't have a question, I have a comment. Thank you for just acknowledging how important it is for the city commission to work with the land bank commission. Thank you.
Any other comments, Commissioner?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, Mr. Mayor, next we're going to move into the first quarter budget update. As you recall, we did the actual budget process. One of the things I wanted to start doing was giving a quarterly update on where we were with the budget every quarter, and that way everybody can be more familiar with how tax dollars are being spent. Again, add to a level of transparency that's required by our citizens. So there's not many slides here. What we're going to do, once we have this discussion, we're going to do a quarterly book similar to the budget book you guys receive in the summertime, and then that book, it's going to be digital. You have the actual hard copy, and then once you make your recommendations / changes on that, then we'll post the digital copy. But it's going to be a scaled down version of your overall budget book. It's going to be a little more less verbiage, so that our citizens really can kind of understand how the tax dollars are being used. So me and the city finance director, we're gonna tag team this brief a little bit, and then I'll come back up and I'll kind of answer some questions. But again, we want everybody to understand the city budget, and this is the first quarter only. The first quarter is gonna have probably gonna be the time where the numbers are most unaligned because we're still taking in property taxes and other forms of funding. So, but for those who are watching, so why do this? Of course, we want to show our citizens how their tax dollars work. Again, we want transparency. We want shared understanding. One thing I am finding out, that probably way too many citizens don't understand, municipality budgets, and that's understandable. These are quite different from maybe your household budget or your bank budget or your store budget, things like that. So we're gonna do our best attempt to make sure they kind of get a overwatch understanding. And then this is also, as I said, requirements to citizens. This is also part of one of the audit findings. That's why we got to do it every quarter to kind of catch up with the audit recommendations. So, where the money comes from, and for those who might be watching, this is generic. Those are not the actual percentages, but for the most part, that's what it is as far as taxes. And our taxes come in many forms: property taxes, sales tax, utility fees, and where it says states and federal funds, that's going to be mainly grants in the form of grants and what we call deferred loans, GFA, things of that nature. So that kind of comprises how we get our money. So for those who might be watching, there's no other form of money or funding coming in from some unknown place for the city. We are a taxation-led government, so majority of our money comes from taxes, utilities, fees, and fines to provide services. So we'll make that clear. I know there's a misconception out there about where we get our money from. Next, that bottom line, you read the line down below, 75% of our taxes go directly to maintaining and sustaining a trained and quality workforce. So most of your tax dollars go to maintaining our workforce. I'll make that clear. I don't think everybody understands that either. So when we have debates or conversations about raising taxes or not raising taxes or things of that nature, or getting more staff or not getting more staff, you always have to remember how that's set up. You can't have one without the other. So we'll make that clear. And throughout the slides, you're going to see that breakdown as far as the 75% of taxes. But I want to make that statement clear because, again, I'm not sure that a lot of citizens truly understand this for two reasons. One reason, of course, they got their own problems going on, trying to live day-to-day operations. And two, again, this can be complex if you're not familiar with or doing it every day. Next, Mr. Mayor, where the money goes. So again, I talked about 75% of the staff, and you're going to see, our the three big staffs, going to be Public Works, Fire and Police. That's the majority where our funding goes as far as taxes. That allows us to have a certain amount of police officers, a certain amount of firemen, and a certain amount of Public Works personnel. And these numbers are correct for those who might be trying to understand better. So it's 34%, 18%, and 20%. Now the other staffs, they don't require as much money because the staffs are smaller in comparison. And while you're reading that, Mr. Mayor, I'll make one more statement on this slide. So this is just not about giving them their paychecks. This is also how we cover the retirement benefits, the health care, the dental care. All that comes into factor. And by taking these taxes and then put them into the workforce, this is how we provide services. So services meaning able to do streets. Service meaning police support, taking down fires, with community improvement, knocking down houses and blighted properties and all these things. With our smaller staffs, our HR, managing our staff, making sure they have all their things in place for them to be taken care of as far as insurance. Our BIS directorate, making sure, as mentioned before, we have the most updated systems so it can be agile and mobile as far as the IT platforms. don't want to miss anybody. And of course, our finance department who holds all this together. So this is again very important that everybody understands how this is set up. And what we'll do as we move forward on the next quarter, we'll go into more detail about how the taxes fund the city operations. So, Mr. Mayor, here we are. Well, that's where we were. This is where we are now. And this is the actual budget, the general fund where everything comes out of. So I'm gonna pull the finance director up here on the next slide. But pretty much that pie chart is showing for the first quarter, you know, for the general fund actually we collected $4,456,000, and that's like kind of lined up with the budget. You can see first quarter because it's a quarter of the pie chart that we budgeted for, and we got a remaining 14, really about 15,000 to come in as far as the budget. And again, we try to keep this as broad as possible, Mr. Mayor, not to go too far in details, but just give enough information so our citizens can better understand how things are set up. At this time, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to turn this over to the finance director. He's going to talk about our individual accounts, kind of where they are right now, and then he'll turn it back over to me after that. Mr. Smith.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As our city manager said, what we're talking about is the first quarter. Our year starts July 1st, so we're talking about July, August, and September. And this is a really busy chart, as you can see, but I'm going to try to break it down a little bit as we go through it. It has the different departments in there. To sort of break it down for you, you can see the middle 3 of 9 are the largest, and they correspond to the pie chart that our city manager showed us. The fourth one is the police department, and the right side is budget, the left side is actual. So looking at the very top, you can see that the actual is a little bit less than the budget. They wouldn't, if they were right together, there would not be anything necessarily wrong, but it's a favorable result showing that the actual is less than the budget. And then the next largest department, square in the middle, is the fire department, and the actual is a little bit less than the budget, which is favorable. And the fire department came close to being right on budget, but again, it's not favorable or unfavorable as long as it's not too far off. And then the next column is public works, the sixth column, fourth from the right, and that's our third largest department. And again, the actual is less than the budget, with the actual being on the left, the budget being on the right. And as you can see, there's 3 on the left side, executive section, finance and human resources, and the 3 on the right side are community improvement, street lights, and engineering. Of these up here, the only one has actual more than budget is the street lights. We went up a good bit on the budget, but we're 5,000. I mean, that's not too bad considering the whole budget, as far as being less than the actual being more than the budget. But again, this is a busy slide. I'll pause if there's any questions or comments.
Okay. Looking to the commission, I'll start with District 1. Did you have any questions of our director?
No, sir.
District 2?
No, sir.
District 3?
I just have a comment. Just looking at the generalization of all those numbers, I'm interested in seeing the breakdown of each of those, the budgets for actual and budget.
By department? By department?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
District 5, thank you. Doing a great job.
Thank you. All right, let's see if I can make this work. Okay. Next is our sales tax. We actually have 5 sales tax fund. The one that's not on here is the local option sales tax. It's not on here because it does not have its own fund. It's part of the general fund. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to show these 4 funds here. And again, the left side is actual. The right side is budget. The first one is the SPLOST 2014. And usually I'd say it's unfavorable to have the actual more than the budget, but actually, and from my standpoint, it's good that we're finally. I shouldn't have said that word. We are using the what's left in that fund, so we can use up all this fund. You know, as you can see, it's 2014, that's a long time ago. So I'm pleased to see us using up this fund. We'll be done with it and can move on to using other funds. Then the next one is Splash 2018. The city's working hard to use up these monies too for the different projects the city manager has given us. The third one is the regional transportation splash. We don't have much control, if any, over this one. It's regional, so we're pretty much told, you know, when we need to spend this money. I did a budget based on history, but again, we don't have a lot of control over that. And then the last one is the most recent splash tax. And again, the city's working hard to spend this money. You know, part of it goes to the overpasses and the projects that the city managers brought in front of you. You know, we'll use these funds too for that purpose. Then next, these are the other funds. The two largest ones on here is waste management and also health insurance. Health insurance is third from the right. And at first glance, I mean, it is unfavorable, but it's premiums. But then if you look at the second one from the right, is workers' comp. And both of these are employee benefits. So, you know, the health insurance is over budget, workers' comp is under budget, so in effect the total employee benefits is still on budget if you put these two together like we can and will. Then besides after the general fund, one of our biggest funds is water and sewer, and again, this is the first 3 months of the fiscal year. The 3 months ended September 30th. As you can see, the revenue is 1.9 million, the expense is 1.7, and we have a profit of 183,000. And you know, at first glance, you know, you would think this is very favorable, but the profit and loss, I shouldn't say it like that. The revenue over expenses, it does month to month, quarter to quarter, it does go up and down. Sometimes it's positive 200,000, sometimes it's a negative 200,000, but by the end of the year, these two the revenue should equal the expenses, because this is not something that we strive to have a revenue over expenses item at the end of the year. And that's all I have. Any questions or comments for me or the city manager?
District 5, did you have any questions?
No, sir, I do not.
District 3?
No question, just a comment.
Comment.
I'd just like to get with you about my request regarding the budget, the
Okay.
detail.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
District 2
No, sir.
and District 1. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, as a reminder, once we, in about 2 weeks, we had a budget book with all this in here. I think I made that earlier. So y'all will get a copy of that in about 2 weeks. I do want to highlight the water and sewer fund. You know, Greg, he did the accounting explanation. I want to say, since my time here, we've always been underwater with that. You probably heard me say that many times before. And I will say, thanks to the hard work, first of all, our finance department, for, you know, getting better at doing their jobs. Then our bids department, as far as getting the software updated. And then our mission partners with ESG and Infomark, with those meters getting replaced. That's why we're here to capture more money as far as the revenue. That's gonna, because stuff is breaking too, it's gonna always fluctuate, but it's fluctuating in a good way this time. Normally this would be way behind after the first quarter. So I'm really thankful and proud of the team effort on that, because it took a lot of people to make this 183,000 seem minimal, but it is a lot when you look at the big picture. Just want to make sure I highlight that. So why this matters, Mr. Mayor, as far as the budget, I want to make sure we clear this. So these are pictures of everything that this budget does, and this is mainly the first quarter. And I'm gonna highlight some of these pictures just so the public might know. So that first picture is the bridge. So when I mentioned state and federal funding, that's what happened with the bridge going to Blackshear. That's part of that process. You see that with our fire department, all the things they do. So they not only put out fires, they do other community events as far as education, training, awareness, and safety. So that's a point on that. It bought this recently this past week. It allowed us to have those parks, upgrade those parks for our citizens. That top corner, well, that's one of the commissioners talking to one of our great fire department employees who focuses on safety outside of the fire department, so way above his pay scope. That next picture was that the tour they had, recovery tour, and this is a program that's funded by the state and federal, and I just put that on there because again, your taxes not only pay for our salaries, it pays for our time. So we do have time that's required to be with our citizens and help support them on issues like this. The next picture is on the mayor with the youth council. We'll talk about that here in a little bit on the last slide. We talked about community cleanup led by the police force and Chief Cox. Our pipe installation, we put in more pipes and sewer and water in the last 2.5 years than the previous 5. Now, I will add that we had COVID part of that. I don't want to act like that wasn't an issue, but we're well on our way to fixing a lot of our drainage issues and concerns. You see the park there again, see our police force there again, and you see our public works there again, taking care of their business, day-to-day business. And then you see some of our mission partners that we also help fund, like Oath, all those other agencies that we're the proprietary for, as far as check cashing sometimes. But these taxpayer dollars allow us to do so many things to benefit our citizens, especially our citizens that are in need, that might be included unhoused, drug dependencies, and things of that nature. So that's why all this matters with the budget. That's why it's important that we find as much revenue as we can to better promote and provide for all these services, these quality services that the city puts out to our citizens. So next, your role. This is talking to the citizens, Mr. Mayor. So how you make this process works. Of course, voting in elections, participate in public meetings, serve on boards and committees, engage in advocacy and community action, utilize technology. I'm going to talk a few of these points if I can, Mr. Mayor. When I say participate in public meetings, this is a public meeting. Even we have Facebook meeting, that's a public meeting. We have an update, so we really want to encourage citizens to take, be a part of that, because that's where you get, again, the truth and the true transparency is part of the process. You can ask any question you want. We will never not answer a question. So the only question we won't answer is the question that we don't get. And then on the bottom it just says that our citizens play a huge role in the process. Every year we hold public hearings and workshops where citizens can share ideas and concerns. When you speak up, whether it's about paving, youth programs, or downtown improvements, it helps guide the commission on how they spend the tax dollars. And then lastly, Mr. Mayor, in the closing message, the city budget is how we turn community goals into real results: safe neighborhoods, strong infrastructure, and places we're proud to call home. We want to thank everybody for being part of this process because the city belongs to everybody. That last picture there is Together We Building Our Future, and that's the Mayor's Youth Council. I encourage anybody to attend that next meeting that we'll put out this week with the Youth Council. They got some great ideas about helping the city move forward as well. And on the other part of that, we got some citizens that are in the terminal school. They have the same set of great ideas about moving the cities forward. So it's great to see two spectrums operating on the same goals as far as improving the city, and as well as being so young. So, Mr. Mayor, we kind of want to keep this kind of short and brief. Like I said, we'll put the actual Excel spreadsheets in the presentation, the quarterly presentation that you receive in a couple of weeks. This is just the face of slides that we kind of put together to hopefully help our citizens better understand the budget. And again, if anybody has questions on the budget, they can make an appointment. They can come up here. We can sit down and talk about it. I've had numerous citizens come up here with questions and concerns, and we've always addressed them professionally and respectfully. So we always look forward to and welcome that type of criticism. Or in some cases, it's been recommendations to change some things, which we have done. So I'm pleased with that. And I'll pause there, Mr. Mayor. Do we have any questions on the quarterly finance update? And again, Mr. Mayor, y'all will receive the full presentation with the sales spreadsheets in about 2 weeks. And again, that will be posted online on our webpage and we post it on Facebook page. But we won't have the hard copy like we did for the overall budget. And I pause there.
Just a comment, and the comment that I'm making toward this is more along the lines of having something like a budget 101 type course for individuals who may be interested. It's the same as we did with the government 101, I believe it was, that we did. And we could just extract from it some of these things so that possibly individuals who want to go on live and look at it, you can actually explain, detailing what is necessary to be a part of the city's budget as opposed to that of a professional budget. Well, this is professional, but you would say more along the lines of a business budget and or our home budgets, because there's some differentiations between the two, or the three in this case. And another thing that I made mention of, and I thought we might do something along the lines of going back to some of that government 101 again, maybe, due to the fact that we went through the charter and we had some concerns. And I think that when individuals read the charter, they can see where some of our conundrums are. The misunderstandings they may come because we have some, I believe we have some ordinances that were written prior to, and then when we get another one, we're trying to make sure we're not overreaching or overstepping. But one of the concerns I had even today, I wanted the decorum read in our meetings like this so that when an individual gets up, they know the steps. I also requested that the decorum be on the back of these so that we can make reference to the decorum. So just in case someone does as was done today, you have that information on your agenda, and then you will have heard it. It seems that the night we read it, it's not a night that we actually have anyone speaking.
Correct.
So with that being said, I would like to add that with the approval of the commissions. Okay.
Okay. And Mr. Mayor, thank you for that. I did miss something. I'm glad you asked that question. So I should say at the beginning, as far as our budget, it must be a balanced budget. So we can't spend what we don't have. Make sure everybody knows that. I know a lot of times, if you heard me reference, we have to finance some things, but that's still financing money that we have. That's that debt consolidation. I'll try to make sure I explain that better next quarter, because we do incur a lot of debt. Some of our loans, GFA loans and things of that nature. But those loans and that debt is kind of programmed over time. So it's like financing. It's like a credit card, but it's not a credit card. But we'll make sure we explain that in depth the next time we have this update. And again, for those who might be listening, as far as the city budget, it must be balanced. We cannot spend what we don't have. So that's why sometimes some of our larger projects take some time to get funded and then get started. So we don't have any more questions on that, on the budget, Mr. Mayor? Okay. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the College Street property update. This was asked for update on the College Street. Right now, we spoke with the potential owner of the property. No cash has exchanged hands at this time, and we can go more in detail about that property in executive session. But no cash has exchanged hands at this time, and I'm going to let Ms. Jackson speak if she wants to, if y'all have any more questions. So right now, taking that property probably needs to be rebid at some point in time. The potential buyer has some concerns and questions. We did modify some of the setbacks, which kind of changed his funding source, so he locked out on that funding source. So right now he's trying to find another funding source, and if he can find that, he might move forward on it. If not, then we'll have to bring this back to the commission probably to get rebid. Okay. Do we have any questions on that at this time?
Probably. Let me check start with District 1.
No, sir. No question.
District 2,
No, sir.
District 3,
No.
and District 5.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. So the gentleman who won the bid, he had 6 months after purchase to abate the asbestos. So he has not paid anything on the property. He has not given the city
No, he's not.
money for the property.
He is not.
Did he say why? Other than the setbacks and all that stuff, because he knew that before coming in.
It might have been some confusion that Commissioner.
Okay.
I thought I need to sit down with him. I want to give y'all a quick update. I'm gonna sit down with him this week, hopefully, and then I'll just bring it back to you. I think it was a misunderstanding on the actual setbacks, because he had a certain requirement to how many homes he could build with the funding source from the federal grant, and it kind of changed when he couldn't put X amount of houses on the property site.
Okay, that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the SPLOST 2023 update, and this is going to be more of a revision, Mr. Mayor. I did sit down. Well, let me start here, Mr. Mayor. Initially, I gave the commission this chart about how we're going to fund some of the projects that were in line with the mandate for the calendar years. But after I sat down, the staff had some concerns about how that was going to be done during the time frame and some priorities. So I sat down with the directors, and we want to make a directional change on how we do this funding. I'll speak on here a little bit to hopefully get the commission to kind of understand better. So order items built to spec. So I'm gonna use like the vac truck. You know, that's at least like a 6 to 8 month process to order that type of vehicle, and then we pay for it, I think, once we order it. So what we probably need to do now, those other bigger purchases, not vac truck, but get a vac truck example, those other big purchases, we probably go ahead and order those right now, especially they're gonna be like a new bill. And it's not on here right now, but we only have, I think it's 4 pieces of equipment from the public works director that's gonna be requiring that. So this is one point. The bid and purchase equipment. So equipment that requires bidding must be prioritized and purchased in accordance with overall SPLOST 23 mandate. So I'm gonna do there as well. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the bids together for certain pieces of equipment because that's a process too. And I'll tie this all together at the end. Initially, when I presented to the commission, I said we'll just buy these vehicles during this month or this month. But to make sure that we're maximized on this funding, we probably got to move a little bit faster than year to year. And then a monthly split. So our goal would be to align the spending in conjunction with the dirt roads, which is the main mandate of the 2023 SPLOST. So right now, looking at the numbers, we're spending about $185,000 monthly for the dirt roads. You know, that came close to $1 million. So when that's a monthly expense, they do a certain part of the project, we pay them that money. And it's average about $150,000 to $180,000 a month. What we're looking to do to tie all this together is, you know, spend that money on dirt road because that's the priority mandated that you all voted on. The other part of that monies would then be put towards equipment purchases. So meaning the 150 to 180 will go right to the roads improvements, and the rest of it will go to equipment purchases. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna reprioritize all of the equipment and then bring it back to the commission so they can understand the requirements of the directors as far as equipment needs. And then we're gonna build a map, kind of just showing every month. It'll be dirt and roads, $185,000, bucket truck, $50,000, special project, $30,000 to that degree. And we build that hopefully for the next 36 months. That's my goal, to do it for 36 months. And that way it's in a pattern that the purchasing director can go ahead, put bids out on equipment, have more predictability to when to put the bids out. And then for the big bucket items, we can go ahead and put those out because we know that's about 6 to 8 months as far as the big equipment. So this is gonna deviate, like I said, from my previous discussion about right now, from calendar year 25 to 26, just focus on dirt roads only. So, which I said initially, and then buy some vehicles, and then calendar 26, 27, then do some streets and roads, and then just do demolition, all those things. I want to really focus on dirt roads and equipment. At the end of this, at 36 months, that's when we'll focus in on as far as the infrastructure, as far as the buildings. We have the police department needs to get built. I want to say we're looking to, we have money in there for a new Kendall. I think it's one more building that we need to try to look at getting built. So, just the commission, can you understand that kind of change in direction? And like I say, this has come back from me sitting down with the directors. They really wanted to front load some of the equipment needs. As you know, our fleet is still aging. Now we did get some new police cars this year, some new pickup trucks, but we got a very, very aging fleet. So we can catch up with that over the next 36 months while paving the roads, getting that done, and then buying some special items like the radios for the police force. I think the fire department had a special requirement as well as far as equipment. So summary, we can do all those things at one time versus wait and just do the roads and just bulk up the cash and then pay for the roads that way. And I'll pause there for any questions.
I go to the commission. Commission, did you have any questions, City Manager? No one said anything at this point.
No question. Okay. And again, Mr. Mayor, what we're gonna do, once we reprioritize that list, and put it to an actual calendar date, we'll bring it before the commission for consideration. And if the commission buys off on it, then we'll put that into effect, move forward. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're asked to research a honors recognition program. And I'm gonna touch on that for a few slides, with one slide here. So the good thing is, by resolution and proclamation, the governing body can pretty much do everything as far as what I found as far as honor program, and I'll talk about a few of those things here. So through resolution and proclamation, you can do a resolution to accommodate. It says commissioner here, commissioner's life, but it could be anybody we choose that might need that type of in that significant type of role. We can recognize their contributions to proclamation, and we can formally recognize them through putting it in the meeting minutes. Physical memorials can be allowed by the governing body. So of course, public space naming, that includes parks, streets, things of that nature, plaques or market recognition, and then a public monument. And then civic ceremonies and benefits by the governing body. So of course, a memorial service, we can lower flags, we can do a civic funeral, and the honor guard can be anybody who has a veteran service status, who might be a commissioner. So I'm not sure we actually need a policy. I did call the city managers. No one had a policy. What they did have was a proclamation, or actually what they had a resolution kind of outlining what would happen. Nobody that I talked to really had on the death of a commissioner. Some things we just assume, I guess, like many situations. So my thinking is here, the commission can get some feedback of what they would like in the resolution. Then I would like to take it back with the attorney, city attorney, make sure just one more time that it's good. And then I propose another resolution kind of covering what happens as far as honors moving forward. And that would be at the next meeting that we would vote on that. And I pause there for any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I'll start with District 1. Any questions concerning District 2?
No, sir.
District 3?
I just have a comment, Mayor. Thank you for doing your research on my request regarding an honors program. Thank you.
And District 5?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I noticed at the bottom it says lowering of flags.
Mm-hmm.
That's reserved for, well, as you know, of the president and on select occasions, the governor. It should be noted that city commissioners are not privy to that honor under the law. I just want to know that.
Okay. Any other question, Mr. Mayor?
I don't, but I think Commissioner Felder does.
Yes, I do. I think that if everyone in this room recalls, the United States did recently honor an active member of a particular political party by lowering the flag to half staff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that individual was an official, an elected official.
Yes. So, Ms. Bessel, I said I want to get with the attorney, and we'll fine tune this. I just did a broad research, and of course, I go again to the resolutions and the proclamations. The resolution can state many things in there, and there's got to be a vote. And I think with the flags, it's going to be in conjunction with the governor, and then with the county, one of those situations. So I'm not saying it can't be or can be, but I'll make sure I go back and clarify what that is. Next, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna move. We're gonna move into the alert message system. I'm gonna turn this over to Director Simmons to discuss this. And again, we want to make sure I think we got this out in the open right now, being tested. You should be getting alerts yourselves if you haven't already. It's a great program, and I will turn it over to Director Simmons.
Good evening. We officially launched the alert system today. It went out via email and also on our social media, so the public is somewhat aware. We have it in the lobby also where they can sign up with the QR code. I did leave some handbills at your desk, and if you need more, I can get more for you so you can pass those out in the community. But I would like for everybody in the room, if you haven't signed up yet, to sign up. Like I said last week, they can get those messages via text, email, voice, telephone call. It also goes to all of our social media platforms. We have X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Nextdoor now too. So we've covered almost all the bases. We just need the citizens to sign up for it. They get the weather alerts. If nothing else, it's basically our own code red system where they get those weather alerts, but also meeting reminders. Some people said last week they didn't know about Pumpkin Fest. We'll start putting those out if they sign up for those events to keep them aware. And we are working on kiosks for the first floor, maybe second and third, but I want to kind of get the IT bid out the way first so we can work with that company to get the right system in, because we have to make sure that when I go up and put my information in, that my information is wiped out. So we need to kind of work with our partners on that to make sure that happens. But any questions on that?
I'll open the floor for commission. Start with District 1. Any questions or comments?
No, sir.
District 2,
No, sir.
District 3,
No.
and District 5.
No, sir.
And again, if anybody needs help, you can give them my number. I can take care of sign them up over the telephone, or either everybody should be getting a copy of the form in their water bills. So if they, they're not computer savvy, they can fill that out and mail it back, or either drop it in, and then I'll get them registered for the notifications that they would like.
Thank you for the work.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the discussion items. We're moving to privilege license renewals.
Okay.
And we have 5. I'm going to let the city clerk touch on these if she'd like to. Tomorrow, okay. So we have 5 privilege license renewals, Mr. Mayor. We have no privilege licenses. At this time, we have no proposed ordinances, no proposed resolutions.
We're
Go to one resolution, great. We have one resolution, Mr. Mayor. And I'm going to pause there and turn it over to the city attorney for his report.
Okay.
The only report I have is the proposed resolution for the ATC Tech bid that was discussed by the purchasing director tonight, so we have a resolution ready for that tomorrow. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, for the city manager report, I have a few items. Again, we'll cut down the slideshow tonight and we'll report that as far as city report. And Mr. Mayor, if I can, I would like to make like 4 comments, reference just a transparency piece. I think it's very important that we do say this in meetings. A lot of times we're not allowed to say feedback, and I know GMA discourages elected officials to go on Facebook and address negative feedback. I have tried myself just to be transparent and provide the truth and the data on these comments. But I will say that I just need to address it because it is getting to the point that it is slander. I want to make some points so they can openly say them in here. Again, because I think the citizens need to hear it, Mr. Mayor. If they don't hear it.
Point of order, Mayor. Mr. Mayor, point of order.
What is the point of order that you're making?
We're not following the agenda as stated. You've said in many meetings that we are to follow the agenda. And when he initially was discussing transparency and communication earlier in his presentation, he had that opportunity to address that, but he did not. And we've moved forward with the agenda. So we have to follow the agenda as it is written, as you've stated in many meetings.
Okay, so we're at your report.
City manager report can be
This is
anything
city
he deems it to be.
report, So he's talking through his report.
Yes. So again, for clarification, to say it on record, because it needs to be on record. Me and Ms. Powell are not related. Still on record. My stepfather's name is Lewis Powell. My last name is Rayford. He is my stepfather. He is my hero. I will say that all day long. He is my dad, but he is my stepdad. And me and Ms. Powell are not related. Although I would love to be related to Ms. Powell. She's a very hard-working employee, and I thank her for everything she does. She has a hard job. There was a comment made about me being here doing the ethics complaint violation. I was not here. I was still in the Army at that time frame in 2023. Just make that clear to everyone. That continues to be out there. Also in the charter, it states the city manager will manage the staff and discipline the staff. I chose not to discipline the staff because I would not listen to, again, an untruth and act on that. Well, I know it to be untruth. So that's what it's that. That's in the codes. That's in the charter. If a citizen look at that, they can see the roles, duties, and responsibilities of the city manager. And again, city manager manages the staff. So, and Mr. Mayor, my apologies for earlier in the meeting. Didn't want to be unprofessional, but at the same time, and we've talked about it before, They cannot be allowed to continue to spread lies like that. And they can do it on their little page and all that, but on record, that's unprofessional. If they would do more to impact the city, I can understand. But to continue to lie just to be lying, that's not fair. And I would encourage other citizens to just come find the truth. You can come up here as easily as you want to and ask the same questions if you want to. We've been open book. The audit is online. All our financials are online. We post a daily update online. We are totally accessible to anybody. We have citizens come here every day with concerns and questions, and we answer them all. So all I'm saying is be honest. Be honest. And just be honest. And I'm going to pause it, Mr. Mayor, for my city report.
Just a comment, and I'll make this one. Each time I sit on this dais, and I've been here, December 31st of this year will be exactly 6 years. In the last couple of 3 years, I've noticed that somewhere along the time that we get ready to do elections, we have these kind of things. One of the concerns I had, and the reason why I requested the quorum to be read, is because of some of the things I saw.
Correct.
While we are trying to litigate or somehow get our speech out there, of course, this is a part of this. It says that we're not supposed to make speeches. That's on here. It also says that no political speech, no endorsement of any candidate, and no speaking negatively or saying that anyone has broken any kind of rule or code. That's in your decorum. Mm-hmm. That's in your book. So when those things are actually expressed, and I hit that gavel, whether loud or soft, and when I say, and call your name, that means stop. There needs to be no extra after that. And I understand there will be those persons who will continue to talk. And sometimes I'll allow for, after the bell rings, I'll allow them to finish their sentence, hopefully. But generally, it is not good for us to continue in this vein. I do appreciate the commission. I do appreciate the citizens and the staff for enduring some of the things that we have to endure as leadership. But on the other side of that coin, I do want us on the dais, as well as those of you who are sitting in the galley, to make certain that when you stand up, there's a level of respect you give to the persons who are holding these positions. We don't get really anything for this. We just get up here because we love our city. And when we come down to it, you're looking at the nastiness that can sometimes pervade. We don't need that for the purposes of our meetings. And so one of the concerns I've had since I've been sitting here, we don't know from day to day when we leave this building what may take place for us. I can tell you, a couple of things have taken place whereas I've had to actually have a vehicle lifted and taken away from here because of some things people have done. So I'm saying to us, we have to be very mindful how we do things here. We must remember that the purpose of this meeting is for the sake of making sure that the citizens are open to this. We open this up. This is our meeting. We do not have to have community engagement. We don't have to have a guest. That's a choice that we made as a commission. So once we allow for that, then we put rules out that are to govern how we run this meeting. And when those rules are broken, then we do bring to the front the idea, listen, this is how we're supposed to run this. But now if we're going to continue to do that, my question, and going along with your line of when someone is slander or libel is written words, slander is spoken word. So along those lines, are there litigations that can be had? Now I'll look to our city's attorney regarding that.
If the facts are such that there are libelous statements being written by someone, that is to say statements that disparages someone's reputation or character, that are not true, that is the basis for litigation. Slander, of course, as you said, is a spoken word where you speak something about someone that is not true, that is designed to destroy one's character, reputation. And not only is the person who speaks it potentially, well, actually liable in the legal sense to the person who's being disparaged, but every person who repeats that same lie or disparaging comment is also potentially liable. So everyone that's in the chain of people who is carrying that misinformation or that lie is potentially liable. So yes, to answer your question, when libel occurs, something about someone in writing that's malicious and untrue, or when someone speaks the same thing against another person, that is slander, and they both are actionable in terms of being able to bring someone to court for that.
And so this is the concern. If we're going to practice these kind of behaviors in an open forum, and then the newspaper jots this information in, and we're utilizing these networks to say something that is not true, although we may be reporting what was said, we can also be encouraging that same kind of mindset. From that point on, people come in just to say what they think, and then you have it written, and then here you have commissioners whose lives and their livelihoods could be challenged as a result of, and or staff members. So one of the concerns that I'm having here as the city's leader, I do understand that people should have the right to talk. They should have the right to speak, but to speak in a way that is not going to cause harm to another person's reputation or possibly even lead to physical harm. Because what we're having here at some given point, you never know what may come through the door. We don't have, although we're being wanded down coming into these meetings, there's no wanding down coming upstairs and going around and coming through the elevator. So we don't know what we may be encountering and what triggers another person's behavior. So these are the kinds of things that are concerns and need to be addressed. And if we have to do particular things, I mean, I watch us sit still while events are taking place, but we've had events where people have come into churches with guns and began to shoot at leaders standing in pulpits. So we know that these are possibilities and potentialities that can be handled if you don't have people prepared for that particular thing. Of course, that's why we had someone come in and teach us how we should respond in those cases. But that's not up here. We have not been taught that. If any one of us at any given point is sitting in this place, we're in an open space, we don't know what could possibly happen. And so that's not good. And it's not one of those things that I would think would be wise to continue in. So we do need to have some kind of, me saying this is meaning that we need to have something that says we have the right, or there is some kind of rule, ordinance, resolution. I know resolutions and ordinances cannot stop bullets, but at least we have those things in place where when something does take place, we have legal standing. I'm turning it back to
Okay, yes, Mr. Mayor. So we do have an executive session, and it's going to be on property, pricing, and personnel. And we are working litigation with what you just mentioned. We are prepping that packet for court.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for personnel, property, and litigation.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Have a motion to go into executive session for personnel, property, and litigation. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Our motion was given by our Commissioner Nelson, District 5. Our second was given by our Commissioner Roberts, District 1. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We're going into executive session. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight.